A strange man begins building a massive boat in the middle of dry land and claims a great flood is coming. As people laugh and ignore him, animals from all over the earth start marching toward the ark, 2 by 2. Then the sky grows dark, and something unimaginable happens. Inside the ark, one family clings to hope while the world outside disappears beneath water. But just when all seems lost, a single olive leaf changes everything. Here is the unveiling story about the Noah's Ark you didn't see in the Bible. Get your popcorn ready for a fantastic story, and make sure you like and share to support this channel. Long time ago, the world was a beautiful place. The trees reached up to the blue sky, the rivers sparkled like diamonds, and the animals roamed happily in the gardens and forests. The sun rose each morning like a golden ball, and the stars danced every night. But something very sad began to happen. The people God had made started to forget him. At first, they just stopped praying. Then they stopped being kind. Then they stopped caring. Their hearts became hard like rocks, and their mouths only spoke lies, anger, and mean things. They hurt each other. They stole from one another. They did bad things all the time and didn't even feel sorry. Some even laughed when they did wrong. God, who made the heavens and the earth, looked down and saw what was happening. His heart felt heavy. He saw people hurting each other every day. He saw their thoughts were full of evil. Not just sometimes, but all the time. He saw how much they had changed. God was not angry the way people get angry. He was sad. Deep, deep sad. Like when someone you love chooses to walk away from you and never come back. I made people to love me and walk with me, God said. But now, they have turned away. They love only themselves. The world had become dark, not from clouds or nightfall, but from all the sin, all the wickedness in people's hearts. But in the middle of that darkness, there was a small light. His name was Noah. Noah was different. He was kind to his neighbors. He didn't cheat or lie. He loved his wife and children. He spoke the truth. But most of all, Noah loved God. When others were loud and rude, Noah stayed quiet and gentle. When others laughed at God, Noah folded his hands and prayed. When others did wrong, Noah chose to do right. God smiled when he looked at Noah. Now that's a man I can trust, God said. So one day, God spoke to Noah. Maybe it was in a dream. Maybe it was in a whisper Noah could feel in his heart. However it happened, Noah knew it was real. Noah, God said, I have seen the evil in the world. It is everywhere. People have filled the earth with wickedness and violence. They hurt each other. They do not care about me. Noah listened quietly. His eyes were wide. His hands may have shaken just a little. I must do something, God said. I will send a flood. A great flood. A deep, mighty flood. It will cover the whole earth. It will wash away all the evil. Everything that breathes and walks on land will be swept away. Noah's heart thudded in his chest. A flood? Covering the earth? How could that be? But God wasn't finished. Noah, he said, because you walk with me, because you do what is right, I will save you. Noah's eyes filled with tears. Not because he was scared, but because he felt God's deep love. God was giving him a chance. Then God said something amazing. I want you to build a boat. A big boat. Bigger than any boat anyone has ever seen. I will give you the plan. And God began to tell Noah the most incredible instructions. Build the ark out of gopher wood, God said. Make rooms inside it. Cover it with pitch so water doesn't get in. Make it 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits tall. That was huge. God continued, put a door in the side and a window up top. Make it with 3 decks, lower, middle, and upper. This will be your shelter. Then God gave Noah a mission, something no one had ever done before. Bring animals into the ark, 2 of every kind, male and female, so they can stay alive with you. Birds, animals, crawling creatures. All of them. And take enough food for you and for them. Noah didn't ask questions. He didn't laugh. He didn't run away. He believed God. Even though it had never rained like that before, even though the sky looked clear, even though people would surely mock him, Noah said yes. And he began to prepare. But while Noah listened and obeyed, the world kept turning darker. People laughed louder. Fights got worse. Sin grew stronger. And no one noticed that God's heart was breaking. Still, every time Noah took a breath, every time he looked at his family, every time he picked up his tools, he remembered what God had said, "You have found favor in my eyes. You walk with me, and I will save you." And so, in the middle of a noisy, evil world, one man stood quietly, hammer in hand, eyes lifted to heaven, ready to do something no one had ever done before. Because one man had faith. Because one man chose to walk with God. And that changed everything. Noah stood in the quiet of the morning, staring at the land God had given him. Then he looked at his hands, strong, rough, ready. He remembered God's voice. Build an ark, a big boat. Make it with rooms inside. Use gopher wood. Cover it with black tar so water won't get in. Noah had never seen a flood before. Not even a storm like the one God had described. Back then, the earth was watered gently from below, like a soft mist rising from the ground. But Noah didn't need to see rain to believe God's words. He trusted him. So, Noah got to work. He cut down the first tree. It fell to the ground. "Why is Noah chopping trees?" some man whispered. "I heard he's building a boat," another laughed. "Out here? There's no sea." Crowds came by just to watch. Some shouted rude things. Others pointed and giggled. "Noah's gone crazy." But Noah didn't stop. He measured the wood. He sawed the planks. He lifted heavy beams with his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They worked under the hot sun, day after day, week after week. The ark was huge. As long as a football field and as tall as a building with 3 floors. It had many rooms inside, some for animals, some for food, and some for Noah's family. Noah didn't build it fast. It took a long time, many, many years. And every nail he hammered was like saying, "I believe God. I believe what he said is true." Still, people didn't listen. They laughed louder. They sinned more. They forgot God completely. But God hadn't forgotten them. Noah tried to warn them. "God is sending a flood. Turn away from your sin. Come back to him." But no one believed. Not even one. One morning, as the sky turned soft pink, Noah heard God again. "It's almost time. Bring in the animals, 2 of every kind, a male and a female. Birds, lions, sheep, bugs, and beasts. Every kind of animal I made. Bring them into the ark, and bring food for them too." Noah nodded. Then something amazing happened. From far away, the animals began to come on their own. Elephants with heavy feet. Lions, proud and strong. Birds with bright feathers. Frogs and rabbits. Bees and butterflies. Animals of all sizes and colors came walking, flying, crawling, and hopping toward the ark, just like God said. People were stunned. What's going on? How are the animals listening to him? They watched in silence as the creatures entered the ark, 2 by 2, each led by God's invisible hand. Still, no one changed. Still, no one said sorry to God. Noah looked out at the world, so full of sin, so full of noise, and then looked back at the ark. His wife stood beside him. His sons were near. Their wives were ready. Then God said, "Take your family. Go into the ark. For in 7 days, the rain will come. I have seen that you are the only righteous one in this generation." Noah took one last look at the land he had always known. Then he stepped inside the ark. The great door was open, waiting. The sky grew darker. The wind whispered warnings. Animals rested in their places. Food was packed. Water was ready. The family sat together inside. Then, something powerful happened. God himself shut the door. Noah didn't close it. His sons didn't close it. God closed it. The door sealed tight. And then, a hush. A quiet stillness hung in the air, as if the whole world was holding its breath. Something big was coming. Something the world had never seen before. And Noah, safely inside, waited for what God had promised. The The world was still. So still, it felt like the wind had stopped breathing. The Ark stood tall on the dry land, a giant wooden ship, unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It creaked softly in the quiet morning, as if it too was waiting. Then, the sky began to change. Dark clouds gathered, thick and heavy like smoke. They rolled across the sky, one after another, blocking out the golden sun. The light dimmed. Shadows stretched over the land. The wind began to blow, not fast, but slow and sad, like a whisper from heaven. It was the sound of something coming. Something big. Something the world had never seen. Inside the Ark, Noah and his family were ready. They had brought in food and water. The rooms were filled with hay and straw. The animals were settled in their places, 2 by 2. Elephants stood side by side, their ears gently flapping. Lions yawned and stretched, then curled up to sleep. Birds chirped softly, flitting from beam to beam. Mice scurried under crates. Butterflies rested on the walls. Each animal had come at just the right time, led by the invisible hand of God. Outside, people gathered to stare. They pointed at the sky. Those clouds looked strange. They looked at the Ark. Why did all those animals go inside? They looked at each other. Could Noah be right? But their hearts were still hard. He's just an old man, someone scoffed. There's no such thing as a flood, another said. Look! There's not even a river nearby. But deep in their chests, something didn't feel right. A loud clap of thunder shook the sky. The people jumped. A streak of lightning cracked across the clouds. Birds flew away in flocks. Sheep began to bleat nervously. Dogs barked and ran in circles. Then came the first drop. One tiny drop of rain landed on a leaf. Then another. Then it fell faster. And then the sky burst open. Rain poured down like rivers falling from the sky. Big, cold drops pounded the earth. The ground turned into mud. Puddles grew into streams. The wind howled louder and louder. People began to shout. It's just a storm. It'll stop soon. But it didn't stop. It only got stronger. Then something terrifying happened. The fountains of the deep, the hidden waters beneath the earth, burst open. Water shot up from the ground like fountains in a garden, only stronger, wilder, unstoppable. The flood had begun. Inside the Ark, Noah held his wife's hand. His sons gathered their wives. They sat together, listening. Then, the great door of the Ark began to move. Noah didn't touch it. No one in his family did either. God himself closed the door. The lock sealed. The Ark was shut tight. They were safe. Outside, the people ran through the pouring rain. Their homes were flooding. The rivers overflowed. Trees bent in the wind. Children cried. Parents shouted. No one had seen anything like it. Let us in, some screamed, banging on the Ark. Noah! Open the door! But it was too late. The door had been closed by God. And when God shuts a door, no one can open it. Inside the Ark, the storm roared outside. But within those wooden walls, it was dry. It was safe. It was peaceful. The animals slept, the family waited. And the rain kept falling. 40 days and 40 nights. Rain. Pouring rain. Endless, mighty, loud and strong. The water rose higher and higher. Houses disappeared. Trees vanished. Mountains were swallowed. Only the Ark floated, safe and steady, carried by the hand of God. The sky had turned sad. But inside the Ark, a new story was beginning. One of hope. One of life. One of promise. The sky wept like never before. Rain poured down, hard and fast, like millions of tiny rivers falling from the sky. It beat against the roof of the Ark. It pounded the ground until the dirt turned to deep, sucking mud. Wind howled through the trees. Lightning flashed like fire in the sky. Thunder rolled over the hills like a giant roaring from the clouds. Water shot up from the ground, bursting from deep places beneath the earth. It gushed like fountains. The rivers overflowed. Streams became rushing floods. Tiny puddles became wide lakes. The streets were swallowed. The houses were crushed. The trees snapped in two. And still, the rain came down, day and night, night and day. For 40 days. And 40 nights. Inside the ark, the sound of rain was loud, pounding like drums on the roof. But Noah and his family were safe. The ark creaked as it lifted off the ground. It floated. Higher and higher, carried by the deep, dark water. The whole earth began to disappear. Mountains were swallowed. Villages vanished. Fields and roads were gone. When Noah looked out the small window at the top of the ark, all he could see was water. Water stretching far and wide, like an endless ocean. The whole world was underwater. The animals stirred inside. Some of them made noises, calls, grunts, growls, but they were calm. It was like they knew this boat was their shelter. Their only safe place. Elephants swayed gently as the ark rocked. Giraffes bent their necks low. Birds fluffed their feathers and blinked. Cows rested in their stalls. Tiny mice curled in straw beds. Lions lay side by side, silent and still. And all around them, the storm roared. But inside the ark, there was peace. Noah prayed. His wife held his hand. His sons checked the animals. Their wives prepared food. They worked together, quietly, carefully, waiting, hoping, trusting. Outside, the world was changing. The rain didn't stop. It kept falling. People had climbed trees, rocks, rooftops, anything they could, but the water kept rising. Help us, some had cried. Noah, let us in, others had screamed. But it was too late. The door was shut. Shut by God himself. It was a hard truth, but it was real. Everyone who had ignored the warning was gone. The Bible says every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. Only Noah and those with him in the ark were left. Genesis 7 verse 23, and now the world was silent. The sky cried. The water churned. The wind whistled. But there was no more shouting. No more laughter. No more sin. Just a great, quiet sorrow floating over the waves. Yet even in the sadness, there was a spark of hope. Because inside the ark, life was still breathing. The animals. The family. The seeds of a new world. The ark rocked gently, like a cradle held in God's own hands. Though the waves rose and fell, the boat stayed steady. Because God was with them. He hadn't forgotten. He was protecting them. He was guiding them. He was keeping his promise. And while the earth lay deep beneath the waters, hidden from the sun, Noah and his family waited. Waited for the day the rain would stop. Waited for the day the sun would shine. Waited for the world to begin again. The rain had stopped. But the world was still underwater. Blue waves stretched in every direction. Mountains were hidden beneath the deep. There was no land to see. Just the great boat, floating quietly in the middle of the endless sea. Inside the ark, Noah waited. He didn't know how long it would take. He didn't know when the earth would dry. But he trusted God. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Still, the ark rocked gently on the water. The animals stayed calm, resting in their rooms. Noah's sons cared for them every day, feeding, cleaning, watching. The family sang songs, prayed, and remembered God's promise. Noah stepped to the small window at the top of the ark. He looked out at the water. Still so wide. Still so deep. Then one day, he chose a strong black raven. "Go," Noah whispered, opening the window. The raven flew into the sky, wings beating fast. It flew back and forth over the water, but it didn't return. There was still no dry place to rest. Noah waited 7 more days. Then, he chose a dove. "Go, little one," he said. The dove flew out into the sky, circling above the waves. It searched for land. It looked for trees or rocks or anything dry. But it found nothing. As the sun went down, the dove returned to the ark, wings tired and empty. Noah reached out and gently brought it back inside. He waited again. 7 more days. More watching. More praying. Then once again, Noah opened the window and let the dove fly. This time, the sky was brighter. The water had gone down a little. The tops of the mountains could just be seen, like dark islands rising from the sea. Noah watched the dove disappear into the distance. He waited. Hours passed. Then the dove came back. And in its beak was something small and green, an olive leaf. Noah's eyes filled with tears. His heart raced. "The earth is waking up," he whispered. Somewhere, a tree had begun to grow again. A tiny leaf had appeared. Life had returned. Hope had returned. Noah showed the leaf to his family. They smiled and held hands. Even the animals stirred, as if they could feel the change. God had not forgotten them. The world was still soaked with water, but now they knew it would not stay that way. One more time, Noah waited 7 days. Then he sent the dove again. This time, it didn't come back. It had found a home. That meant the world was almost ready. Noah stood in the ark, heart full of peace. Soon, the door would open. Soon, they would walk on dry land again. And soon, God would start something brand new. The rain had stopped. The water had gone down. The ground was dry. The great ark rested on a mountain called Ararat. It had been many, many days since the storm began. Now, the sun was shining, and the wind was gentle. Then, one quiet day, God spoke to Noah. "Come out of the ark, Noah. Bring your wife, your sons, and their wives. Let the animals go out too. The earth is ready. ****. Noah smiled. His heart felt full. The big wooden door creaked open. Light poured in. Fresh air rushed through. The animals stepped out, 2 by 2, just like they had come in. The elephants rumbled and stretched their trunks. The giraffes lifted their long necks toward the sky. The birds flew high, circling above the trees. The lions roared. The deer ran. The rabbits bounced. They were free. And they had been saved. Why did God ask for 2 of every kind of animal? Because he wanted life to continue. Each animal had a mate, a boy and a girl, so they could have babies and fill the earth again. If only one had come, there would be no new animals. But with 2, each kind could grow and spread across the land. God had planned everything just right. Noah looked around. The world was fresh and clean. The trees had leaves again. Flowers bloomed in the fields. The sky was wide and blue. The ground was firm beneath his feet. He knelt down. Right there on the fresh earth, Noah built an altar, a special place to say thank you. He offered a gift to God from his heart. And God was pleased. Then, God made a promise. "Never again will I flood the whole earth," God said. "Even if people do wrong, I will never destroy all living things again." And then, God painted the sky. He placed a bright, beautiful rainbow across the clouds. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It shimmered in the sunlight like a bridge of hope. "This rainbow is my promise to you," said God. "Whenever you see it, remember, I will never flood the whole earth again. I will always keep my promises." Noah and his family stood together, gazing at the glowing rainbow. Their hearts were full. They were the beginning of a new world. From that day on, the rainbow became a sign of God's love. A sign that He is faithful. A sign that He cares. So now, whenever you see a rainbow in the sky, you can smile too. Because that same promise still stands. God always keeps His word. God always loves His people. And God never forgets.